Turn to the left.
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck is that?
Okay. Hey, he's cool. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. Anyway, high five one more time. I missed.
It's dark.
Oh, it is very dark. Stairway to hell. Ugh. That's tempting. Can I go?
I hit myself in the head with the microphone.
You alright? Hello, Internet. Welcome to Renegades Yeah, this isn't game theory. We haven't reacted to game theory in quite some time, if I'm being honest.
Probably because you have a member on the channel now that doesn't have the utmost respect for game theory.
Fair enough, fair enough. And to be fair, there's a lot of people out there who are in the same boat as you. And honestly...
So to be fair, I like Matt Pat as a person. He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
But some of his game theories are the most whack shit I've ever heard.
And
people like try to argue it's like it's all for fun and stuff, you know, and it's like I get it, but there are obvious ways that you could try a little harder than just pulling stuff completely out of thin air.
Well, he's admitted in the past, like he has like gone on stream and admitted in the past, like, yeah, some of the ones that I used to do, there's a reason why I abandoned like the continuations of them, because yeah, they weren't good theories. In the looking back, they were not good theories, and I realized that I wasn't doing it because I was actively trying to pursue a theory. I was trying to get people to click on the video, and I'm just like, there you go. See, at least he can admit to his faults. He's not like a bunch of other YouTubers out there who just say it's just like that's what I put out there, and if you don't like it, in all honesty, you can go fuck yourself. I hate you. Never watch my videos again. Yeah, I've encountered people like that. And as a matter of fact, I've had some reactions like that, but it's usually been to individuals. It's not as, like, the fandom as a whole. There's some people who just treat their whole fandom like that. Me, I've been very cross whenever people get personal with me, and I've just tried my best to hold myself back, but sometimes I can't. And if any of you have ever felt offended that I have said something that you took as offense, I'm sorry.
I love when someone says something along the lines of, these fat dumbasses are so boring. And then you're just like, alright, go fuck yourself. And they're just like, you can't even take constructive criticism. I'm just like, you don't know what the fuck constructive criticism means.
Look up constructive criticism and then get back to me.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I'm just like, let me introduce you to the term ad hominem. If you do not know what that is, then you do not know what constructive criticism is. I bet $1,000. But yeah, if someone's has constructive criticism for us, like I wish you guys wouldn't ramble as much. Like, that's a fair criticism. We ramble a lot. Case in point, right now, this intro, which is currently 3 minutes long. But if we were like a boring reaction channel, we would just gone ahead, started the video, and wouldn't have said anything. Been like,
pretty much.
Doki Doki Literature Club.
Yeah, it would have been like that. That's how it would have been. We're not like that. We talk. We ramble. We discuss. That's just how it is.
But I do like Matt Pat's film theories that I've seen.
Oh yeah, his film theories actually, I think, are more grounded than his game theory ones because, well, let's be honest.
I think it's also easier to make a theory about a film than it is like a game that's usually, up to anywhere between 8 times and like 100 times as long, like, as a movie.
Oh. Someone in our gaming chat asked us to react to this once we're done playing these games. So now that we have played all of them already, I figured, why not? Let's just give this a shot. This is Game Theory, the bloody history of Poppy Playtime. Here we go.
Doki Doki Literature Club, solved. Bendy and the Ink Machine, solved. Five Nights at Freddy's, solved, maybe. Then kind of retconned and solved again. I don't know, it's kind of solved. Yeah, remains to be seen. Anyway, today there's a new challenger, Poppy Playtime. And with only one chapter available, this thing is ripe for the theorizing. We've seen children's toys and games trying to kill us in the past, but it's never been anything like this. Hello, Internet? Welcome to Game Theory, where today I wanted to start off by introducing you to our latest piece of merch. Say hello to the Maddie Pally doll. Maddie Pally, the perfect friend for every theorist.
But hey, that's just a theory.
And that's not all he can say. He's actually full of all the favorite catchphrases from the channel.
I'm coming to get you, Mad Pat.
Oh, okay. Very funny. Who changed the voice box?
No one did, Mad Pat.
Okay.
I'm going to kill you, Mad Pat, and that's no theory.
And we're done with that one. Why do we always end up with all the creepy possessed stuff? Guess it's just kind of the brand now. But hey, if you like all things creepy, why not hit that subscribe button? If you don't, well, let's just say that I can't guarantee your safety from whatever scary toys you have lurking around your house.
Oh
to
my
be fair, I
God.
can't really do that even if you do push the subscribe button, but still, pushing that button won't hurt. So, pop
She actually has
Furby
a
with
box
a
of creepy
knife
ass
go-
dolls in the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just got back from her home and just brought in this tote, and we opened it up, and there's just a bunch of old creepy dolls in there.
Not to mention I brought back old knives too.
Yeah,
And
they're in the
box
same
with the
box.
dolls.
Imagine us
Yeah, I was
going.
like, why did you put all the rusty old knives in the same box as the creepy ass dolls? You
We're
just gave
making
them
a
weapons.
haunted house, guys.
we're gonna try and make a
I
haunted.
I wasn't thinking about that at the time.
I would have immediately thought about that.
But just all of a sudden,
I would have put
imagine
the
us-
first knife in the box with the creepy ass dolls and then be like,
Yeah,
you know what? Nah.
yeah. I'd got.
I'm also going to tape this doll box closed.
Yeah, with I'm gonna close it with Saran wrap, or no, is that super tight like plastic wrap, shrink wrap. That's what they
Shrink
call it.
wrap.
But I've watched a lot of horror movies, so that's why I think about something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Again,
The latest horror craze filling the void of emptiness as we asymptotically approach the release of Security Breach. If there's a formula for indie horror, this thing checks all the boxes. Simple creative gameplay? Check. Horrific childhood playthings? Check. Mysterious hidden lore sprinkled throughout? Double check. So today we're gonna look at the first chapter to start piecing together what's really going on in this game and what's gonna be coming in the future installments. And let me tell you this, while it may certainly look similar to the dozens of indie horror games that we've seen in the past, this one has some unexpected twists that make it all the more surprising and the more terrifying. And I gotta say, for the first time in what seems like forever, there's no malicious AI trying to steal your identity to escape their video game prison by hopping into your body. No matter what else this story entails, big props on being creative on that one. When we boot up Chapter 1, we're told that we're taking on the role of an ex-employee of the Playtime company, finally returning to the factory years after everyone mysteriously disappeared inside. If that's not a theorist invite, I don't know what is. What happened? Why are we the ones who remain? One click into this game and already there are so many questions circulating around. So, to start our adventure, we receive a note informing us that these missing employees never actually left the building, alongside a VHS tape that introduces us to the titular character Poppy Playtime, a doll with hair that smells like poppies, weirdly realistic eyes, and the ability to have actual conversations.
She is the first truly intelligent doll in the world. A little girl can talk to her. Poppy gives her answers.
Which, gotta say, is a whole lot of red flags right off the bat. I've
Yeah.
played
Yeah.
enough horror games over the years to know that when inanimate objects start talking to you, you start running in the other direction.
Yes.
But I don't know, it's a game. What else am I gonna do? I'm curious, so off to the factory we go. Right off the bat, we find a giant version of the popular Playtime company mascot, Huggy Wuggy. Huh, those cold dead eyes aren't ominous at all. Sure, nothing bad's gonna come from this guy. Now, watching playthroughs of Poppy Playtime, there is one thing that immediately stands out. Everyone high-fives Huggy.
yeah, yeah, we did.
We did.
We high-fived him.
Yeah, we did.
High five.
See, I wonder if they did that on purpose.
Maybe they did.
Like, it's literally his right hand is the one that's held up, and you have the left pack first, which matches that hand for a high five. So I
Like,
think
hey,
they,
buddy,
Probably
I think
so.
the developers like intended that. They're just like have him look like hey, like
Yeah.
but like also
Yep.
like high five, like you know.
And then later he tries to
and then you
kill
have a hand you can slap his high five with if you
Well,
want to.
interestingly enough, I high-fived him once, and then I went back to high-five him again, and it
He was-
ricocheted.
Oh,
just
yeah, yep.
You missed.
deflected off, and I was like, I missed. And just because I didn't want it to feel awkward, I high-fived him again.
Yeah.
I high-fived him twice, technically 3 times.
Did 2.5 times.
Hey! High five, man. Let's go.
Even me. High five, Huggy. Boom! Apparently there's just some sort of primal reflex in our monkey brains. Raised hand equals high five. From there, we unlock the second hand of our grab pack. We get to build one of the toys, and look, it's that Muppet reject that we met earlier. Except now he's trying to kill us. Oh no!
Oh my God.
Who could have seen that one coming? I mean, to be fair, it is a legitimately terrifying encounter. Once we manage to escape the nightmare by throwing him down into the factory abyss, we see a large flower on the wall, along with all sorts of warnings about why we shouldn't go through that door. But nah, those people clearly didn't know what they were talking about. We plow our way inside and find Poppy herself resting inside a glass case. Without any forethought or concern for our own well-being, we rip open the case because, of course, we do. Do horror games not exist in these universes? We almost died in the arms of this giant Sesame Street reject. Let's just make our presence known to the creepy living doll now. The lights flash, Poppy's eyes open, and we get the final line of the chapter.
You opened my case.
And that's it. Big old cliffhanger for the next installment. But is it just me, or did it feel like there was something more going on here? Who am I kidding? Of course there's something more going on here. This is a modern indie horror game. There's hidden lore all over this thing. For starters, let's rewind a bit to take a closer look at Huggy Wuggy himself. We know from the opening placard that the toy was made in 1984 and became Playtime Company's most popular mascot, but how do you go from this to this? Toys just don't come to life, unless Toy Story was right all along. They
Kill it with fire.
don't. So what is this thing? Well, for obvious reasons, I immediately jumped to animatronic. But the game actually gives us clues that he's something else entirely. Something even more horrifying than we could have ever anticipated. If you're unfortunate enough to get killed by Huggy during the chase, you get a randomized death screen with a message that ranges from "it's not your time" to "don't let them inside." But mixed in there is the chance of you seeing one that reads EXP 1006, isn't he wonderful? This would suggest that someone is asking us what we think of their experiment. The monster that
was the same number as the last VHS tape on the first part, Experiment 1006. You know, at the end of that tape, the dude died. So, yeah.
that just killed us. This isn't the only time that we see Huggy referred to by this name either. Throughout the game, we discover VHS tapes with recordings from various factory employees. The last one you receive is simply titled Unknown, and on it we hear this message.
Final log in relation. Experiment 1006.
That's what you were just talking about.
There you go. Also, fun fact, any MK fans watching this video, which there's bound to be some of you, given the fact that you're on our channel, Robin from MK was the voice of Leith Pierre on the green tape in the beginning. So that's awesome.
I saw the comments from
cooperation is evidently
You did what?
our video. The comment section said that. I was like, cool.
within his skill set, though still missing. Today's events are no doubt in relation to him. We must forge onwards in the name of science.
Also, this sounds a lot like Logan. Like if Logan were like reading in a very low, like almost whispery voice.
Yeah, possible.
I could hear Logan doing this. By the way, hi Logan.
Whether those who are beneath us understand it or not.
So he's an experiment within the facility that escaped and clearly created an incident within the factory, but this still doesn't explain why I think his creation is different from something like the animatronics in FNAF. Well, in the trailer for the game, we get our first look at Huggy, walking towards us while bits of text flash up on screen. These messages seem to be excerpts from documents of Playtime code, but before I can read them, most of the text disappears to reveal a new, eerie sentence. But you know I'm gonna pause the video and read all the frame-perfect stuff, right? Most of the vanishing messages cover pretty standard stuff, mostly about grab pack safety. That is, until we get to the 43-second mark of the trailer, where suddenly we have a giant wall of darkened rolling text happening behind the main message. Hold the phone! Things that are hidden in the dark? What is this, a 2015 FNAF 4 teaser image? So, true to form, I do what I do best. I lower the contrast, I up the brightness, and voila, we got this. Experiment 1006. The prototype. He seems serviceable as the prime example for the type of vessel which we're trying to create. Despite his digestive tract being wired properly, the prototype finds no necessity for sustenance, unlike the others. All other experiments can only survive while subsisting on much larger portions. Huggy, as well as these other experiments, has...
What?
We noticed the blood whenever
Yeah.
he hit the pipes as he was falling.
And also all the blood from all the other, like...
All the other
broken
animatronics,
toys.
yeah, the various dance bots. The green
yeah.
bots that were all, and the other ones too.
And the vessel makes me think there might be like a sort of Annabelle type situation to an extent. Like
there's some Annabelle
kind of
shit.
like, you know, someone.
That's what she said during this playing it.
Some
It's like,
Annabelle
this is some Annabelle
shit. She
shit
was
right
in
here.
a fucking
like,
case
you know,
like
the-
Annabelle.
Like it was Pierre the CEO, or was
He was the head of security.
okay? So not Pierre, but like maybe the CEO of the company. Like
Oh,
maybe
Ludwig.
they had a
Ludwig.
kid
Ludwig,
that died
yeah.
or something. And
Oh.
they're like trying to make a vessel that their kid's soul could live in, like,
Maybe.
or maybe
Again,
they have a kid that's dying, like, or something. And they're trying to transfer their kid's mind to like something else, maybe.
Well, it did talk about how he had tragedy in his family.
Yeah,
at one point.
again, where they were doing the biography thing about Ludwig in the second part, they basically said, yeah, his life was filled with tragedy. And I'm wondering if that's the case, if like something did happen and he's filling the vessels of these creatures with the souls of his loved ones.
Yeah.
Or possibly the souls of the employees to start with,
Yeah.
As like an experiment. And
or the brains of the employees, because
Oh.
okay, so as we're cheating on theorizing here because we've already seen part 2, but
Yes,
as we've seen,
a little
they
bit.
obviously become more sentient at some point over
Well,
time.
and
And
then
I
there's
believe
Kissy Missy.
Poppy is probably the result of these experiments, and them trying to do whatever they did is the reason they managed to make a sentient doll that they were advertising to kids as the first ever doll that's like the smartest doll in the world that can actually have conversations with you.
And also, don't forget Kissy Missy in the second part when
How
we
she
thought
helped her.
Yeah,
or
where she
whatever.
was
helping.
we thought it was Huggy Wuggy back from the dead, but then came out of the shadows, and it's Kissy Missy. I incorrectly said Kissy Wissy when I first saw it. But anyway, Kissy Missy comes out, opens the door for us, and then just walks off. And again, we don't know what happened to her after that.
Spoiler alert.
Spoilers, yeah. But
know
if
what
you're
would be
watching this, you've probably
absolutely-
already seen the... Go ahead.
You know what would be so fucked up? Like I don't know why my brain went to this, but like to see in part 3. Like basically, if you find an area that like Kissy Missy is essentially made like her nest, quote unquote, and like you find the dead body of Huggy Wuggy there, along with eggs.
Oh, wow.
Just like
On a
these
scale,
fucking strange toy creatures are laying eggs. Like,
To quote
fuck that.
the one of my favorite TikToks, on a scale of how fucked up is fucked up, that's fucked up.
Yeah, that would be pretty fucked up.
Yeah, that's fucked up right there.
The digestive system. That's not something an animatronic possessed by the soul of a dead child would need. It leads me to believe that Huggy is a living organic creature, not just a stuffed toy turned sentient. Although, if we're reading this right, Huggy just kills for fun. He doesn't need to eat, unlike the others. Plus, if we take a look at the scene where he caused the walkway to collapse, Huggy falls into the factory below, hitting 2 pipes along the way. Notice anything unusual? Here's the before and after shot to make it easy for you. You see, there's blood on the pipes. Huggy bleeds. He is definitely organic. A literal living, breathing monster. But how are they turning toys into organic creatures? For that, let's actually turn our attention to the perfect toy herself, Poppy. When we're introduced to her in that initial VHS tape, we're told that she's perfect. She has hair that smells like poppies, which, side note, I looked into, and it turns out that poppies don't really have that much of a smell. Unless, of course, you're talking about opium poppies, in which case you're opening up a whole lot of messed up there. In the olden days, opium was used to relax.
Whoa.
Wow.
As the internet, please don't.
Please don't what?
I think the internet's having a rough time.
How come?
I don't know.
No, I mean,
Because
why
it
do you
froze.
think that? Oh,
It froze.
you paused it.
No, it froze.
Oh, okay. The play button was down there like it had just been paused, and I saw the pause pop up, so I was like...
No, it had been frozen on the same frame for God knows how long, and then
I literally saw it start to whoosh, and then I saw the pause thing come up, and I was like, okay. Maybe I'm just insane. I don't know.
maybe we're all.
And help you to
Oh, there we go. Okay.
But in case you're opening up a whole lot of messed up there. In the olden days, opium was used to relax and help you to sleep. No wonder this thing was a hit, especially with the parents, but I'm getting myself sidetracked here. Anyway, the important part of this ad is that a child can have conversations with Poppy and that she can talk back to give answers, which seems like a strange level of AI for a company that was around during the 1950s and 60s. Unless, of course, she's not an AI. In the teaser for Poppy Playtime, we see a tutorial on how to look after your Poppy doll. Near the end of the video, the voice box gets pulled out and we see that it's dripping with blood. Again, leading me to believe that these toys are actually all organic. But with Poppy, we can actually go one step further and figure out how she's been made organic. You see, the hardest secret to find in Poppy Playtime Chapter 1 is a pink VHS tape right before the final chase.
Ah! We found that one. We didn't find the orange one, though.
Right.
Rest in peace, orange VHS tape.
Wait. Oh my gosh, is that it? Oh, no way! Oh my gosh, that was it!
Well done.
Wow! I'm assuming the game really doesn't want me to do this, but I don't care. Because I found the lore. Oh no! If you manage to find it before getting locked out, the tape shows you an interview with a prospective employee, Stella Graber. She's a woman obsessed with living forever, wanting to be more like a child.
Yeah, remember her?
Yeah, she had like a Eastern European accent, and she was obsessed with, you know, how toys, if they're maintained, can live forever, whereas human, and also she talked about trees. It's like, if you think about it, trees have been around for hundreds of years, which would mean that even the oldest humans were not even born when the trees were still around. It's like, yeah, again.
Does Poppy have that same kind of accent?
No. Poppy's got a very like a very standard American accent.
And neither did what was her name? Spindly Legs.
Mommy.
Yeah.
Mommy Long Legs.
She didn't have that accent either, did she?
No. Actually, I found out that Elsie Lovelock did the voice for her. That's from Hell of a Boss. The lead from Hell of a Boss. Not Hell of a Boss, Has Been Hotel.
Oh.
Yeah. So, that one... That one just surprised
Well, I think
me.
if whatever creature ends up showing up in Chapter 3 has that accent, then we're immediately going to know
I guess
what's happened, pretty much.
And longing to bring joy to children like her toys did for her.
Your body just gets older and older, and then you die. Human bodies just can't stay young forever.
This tape feels really random in the grand scheme of things. Like, why would we be shown this? Well, it starts to make much more sense in the context of living organic toys. Based on the way that she talks, Stella would be the perfect candidate for some experiments that Playtime were running. I believe that they used employees, specifically Stella, to make Poppy. Not just transferred her consciousness either, but used her physical body, their digestive systems, their brains, and in the case of Poppy, Stella's eyes. It seems like an extreme leap to make, but look at Poppy's eyes in the video. Tell me that those aren't human. You don't just add capillaries to your cute little doll's eyes. This would also align with the whole bleeding thing. Organic bodies made of flesh and organs that can bleed. It's also worth mentioning that the voice actor for Stella is the same as the voice actor for Poppy. This may just be because of limited voice actors, but it...
Oh.
Look at that.
I didn't even notice that.
Also feels like an interesting detail to call out. If I'm right about Stella and Poppy being one and the same, I think it gives us a pretty good idea of what her part is in the wider
My only
story.
point, Matt Pat,
consensus online
is why does Poppy not have the accent?
I don't know.
I don't
Poppy
think they're the same.
Gonna be the big bad. I mean, the game's got her name on it after all, but for me, I'm not so sure. I don't believe that Stella would be mad about being turned into a toy. I think that, honestly, she'd be delighted. She would not be delighted, however, in being locked away in a sealed glass case. Listen to that final line again when we open the glass case at the end of Chapter 1.
You opened my case.
It sounds like a confused, but thankful response. By being locked away, she hasn't been able to go out into the world and bring joy to children. It's not much of an existence living inside a tiny box. Believe me, I know, doing this many videos every week, I've become very used to the confined space of my recording closet. Us coming along and freeing her? I think that's gonna be the rescue that she's been longing for. Some of the death messages also lead me to believe that Poppy isn't trying to kill us. Look again at these screens. I need you alive. It's too early to die. Death isn't permanent. Who who is talking to us in these screens? Well, I think it's Poppy. She's the only other character that we've been introduced to so far, so if it's not her, it kinda has to be someone else that we haven't really met yet. She's calling out to us. She needs us, and it's not just for her sake either. Another death screen reads, "More lives are at risk than just yours." Whoever this person is, they're hoping that we can help all of the vanished employees. And it doesn't end there. There's one final death screen to call out. This one, which looks like somebody head-desked their keyboard repeatedly, but it actually...
That's basically just like, how do you make an idiot-proof password? Ask my forehead. If you're wondering what I mean by that, there you go. Now it's the random jumbling of numbers. And letters. Oh, thank God the keyboard still works. I was worried that the keyboard wouldn't work once I headbutted it.
Appears to be Cyrillic characters, or at least approximately close to Cyrillic characters. For those of you who don't know, Cyrillic is the alphabet used for Slavic languages. Places like Russia, Bulgaria, the Ukraine, you know, the countries that give new meaning to the word cold. Who knows, maybe the languages all look this way with the extra accents and swoops because people trying to write them are shivering all the time. Anyway, for Cyrillic, it actually looks to be a simple substitution cipher, with different characters representing different characters from the Latin alphabet that we're more familiar with. Notice these two in a row right here, probably EE or OO. Using that as our base and trying lots of different combinations, we can't come to a definitive conclusion. There just isn't enough letters here, but stay, they need help certainly fits the pattern that we're seeing in the letters, which again hints at the fact that these are people, ex-employees trapped inside the bodies of the monsters looking to escape. All of this points to Poppy becoming our companion. Maybe she'll help us solve puzzles by getting into spaces that we can't, or she'll be able to distract the monsters while we progress, or she'll just be our guide through the factory maze, kind of like GLaDOS the potato from Portal 2. But in some small way, I think that she's going to be helping us both save herself and all the others. So if Poppy is our helper, then who's our big bad? Well, remember the trailer? While discussing Huggy, it mentioned others. So did the VHS tape. We know that Huggy is experiment 1006, which, if this scientist has any respect for logical procedure, would imply that he's actually the 6th experiment they've created. Sure, they call him the prototype, but he...
And we know from that one game that was in part 2 that yes, there are
more Huggies, yeah.
He's gained that name because, as the trailer said, he seems serviceable as the prime example for the type of vessel that we're trying to create. So they thought they'd got the experiment right that time, but clearly there were others before him, all with cognitive ability, but these ones are going to be hungrier. They're going to be more bloodthirsty than Huggy. And gotta admit, he was already pretty bad. So then who or what came before? Well, during the course of the game, we're actually made aware of 5 other toys that Playtime creates. Candy Cat, Boogie Bot, Brawn, Cat Bee, and a pink version of Huggy, which we'll call Ms. Huggy.
We didn't know that in the first part.
Right.
Kissy
Missy.
Yeah. And there's also other ones like Boogie Bot, Brawn, Candy Cat, and Cat Bee. We see them a bit later on in part 2, but there's also a bunch of other ones that are added in part 2. Like the Pugapillar.
Yeah.
Then, of course, there's the bunny with the symbols.
Yeah, what was that one?
I forget. The one that almost predicted my birthday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that would still flip me out. I was like...
That was really crazy.
I was like, that's
like
close.
6 days off.
You want to know? But I found out a little secret about that one. Do you know whose birthday that actually is?
Who?
Markiplier's.
Really?
They put it in there just to fuck with Mark.
They did that just to freak him out.
Yeah, and he was just... I just remember just like seeing that. I'm like, no. And then I watched Mark's playthrough up to that point. I'm like, fuck. You smart devils. Look at you.
If Huggy was experiment 1006, with 5 other toys available, I think it's likely that they're gonna be the monsters that show up in future chapters. But kicking us off in chapter 2, I believe, will be Cat Bee. Why? Well, because as much as there are references to all the other toys throughout the factory, Cat Bee's the one that has an active part in this chapter of the story. After getting the storeroom tape, we see a conveyor belt, which is covered in Cat Bee parts. Once we crawl through the vents, we end up at an assembly line, where we then proceed to activate and create a Cat Bee toy. The others have all been developing background characters to the chapter, but we actively create Cat Bee, which seems like a metaphor for the humans creating monsters, and that points me in the direction of Cat Bee being our next big bad. But all of it leaves me with one final question. Clearly, Poppy put Playtime on the map in the 1960s, based on the vintage style of the Poppy ad and the fact that the ad is actually in color, which is something that wasn't available until the 1960s. Huggy Wuggy was invented in 1984, after Poppy. So if Poppy was a human experiment and she was perfect, then why are Huggy and all the other experiments then monsters? Well, my theory is that Poppy was a human experiment done back in the 1960s and was a roaring success, but the secret to how it was done was kept under wraps. And as dolls came out of fashion, the company had to evolve, creating new colorful toys like Candy Cat and Huggy Wuggy. We can see, based on the toy packaging, that this went on for some time. Huggy's packaging is very similar to those of the 1980s. Boogie Bot and Candy Cat look much more like toys from the early 2000s. Clearly, the company was able to survive for a long time, but it wasn't enough to keep the company afloat, and so someone in the factory decided to pursue new innovations to bring Playtime Co. back to its former glory. Innovation is key, after all, as we see in one of the death screens. Without any knowledge of how they managed to successfully create Poppy, the scientists get to work trying to recreate the magic. Toys that would come to life, acting like pets for children, bring them joy. Once again, they succeed in creating something organic, but they miss the one human element that made the original Poppy experiment successful: willingness. Stella was the perfect subject. She seemed like she'd be over the moon with living forever as a child. However, our scientist may not have known about Stella and what made her, and therefore Poppy, special. I bet you that characters like the disgruntled storeroom worker Rich that we meet in the tapes are people that have been turned into these monstrous toys. He doesn't seem all that pleased with the company making his life difficult, and we know that although they may have a clean, sparkly outward image, Playtime don't tend to treat their employees very well. Wouldn't be too hard to believe that they saw the tape of Rich complaining and decided he needed to be disciplined in a very special way. But Rich doesn't have that childlike wonder of Stella or that natural love of toys, and so when he gets made into one, he becomes a monster. The experiment backfires and starts killing the employees. The scientist locked himself away in the same room that we found Poppy. She was patient zero, locked away in the case to protect and study her, until of course we come along and set her free. There you have it, friends, my predictions for Poppy Playtime. Was I right? Was I wrong? I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. But
He's off
hey,
on just a
that's
couple things
just
for
a
sure.
theory.
But
A game theory. Thanks for watching.
as far as I saw, I don't think he completely went outside of all the lore of the second game yet.
Well, no, the second game. Well, again, I think this was before the trailer was released for Chapter 2, because again, in the trailer it's revealed, like, you know, Mommy Longlegs is revealed, although we don't know. I don't think we learned her name.
So obviously his Candy Cat theory was off, but
but everything else that he's tying together in terms of the overall lore,
or Cat Bee, sorry.
Yeah, well, the whole thing with him tying together the lore with the woman getting sacrificed and basically her being Poppy, I did not put it together that it was the same woman that was voicing her on the tape. I did not put that together. And then, of course, you know, we know in the second game, you know, about Poppy, you know, wanting to help you and everything. At first, it seems that way, but then at the very end, something else happens.
Right.
Don't want to give it away for anyone who hasn't seen it or played it, but there's a lot that goes on in Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is easily twice as long, if not longer, than Chapter 1. Yeah. So
I think there's something possibly even more crazy than everything that, like, we were talking about and he was talking about here as well. Because,
such as what?
Well, during Chapter 2, obviously major spoilers if anybody's watching this that's only played the first part or watched the first theory, obviously, part. But whenever she's getting pulled into the machine, she says something like, "You'll make me part of him."
Oh, yeah, that.
And then there's the big shadowy spider thing that, like, is it Poppy that it pulls down the shaft?
No, that was Mommy Longlegs.
Oh yeah, it pulls Mommy Longlegs down the shaft. So, like, or at least half of her that's not minced.
Well, it pulls her under a door. There's an open door to the, you know, that's behind her as she's getting ground up.
Oh, it looked like it was like a hole in the ground when it pulled her down. Like,
well, no, that was in the beginning where Poppy gets pulled down by Mommy.
I didn't see the beginning.
Okay, well.
Oh, right.
Like, I'm talking about after she was ground up, it looked like the spider came out of a hole that was like, maybe there was a door that was closed over the hole, like, partway, but, like, it, like, reached out and pulled her down.
I didn't see a hole in the door or anything like that.
That's what I saw, but I don't know.
well.
Maybe I just missaw stuff because I was sitting far away from the screen.
Either way, though, it was a...
Either way, it was like a spider legs type thing, you know, that kind of grabbed hold and pulled her in, and
it was that part probably
you'll make
scared
me
Kate the worst.
You'll make me part of him is like the real, like, what the fuck does that mean? Like,
yeah.
thing, you know, like,
and then
I was scared.
like, none of this theory or anything explains anything close to that.
No.
So,
well, the deeper we go, the more fucked up it's going to get. I know that.
That's why I'm thinking there's something even crazier going on than just people being turned into monsters. Like, maybe people are being turned into monsters, but...
What for?
Yeah, and, like, who is him?
Yeah.
And how can people be made part of him? So perhaps maybe they made, like, the best way I could explain it without it being, like, that much crazier is there is one more experiment that has been basically trying to gather the other experiments and just, like, essentially sort of like the first major boss of Elden Ring. He's, like, splicing other things onto himself to make himself more powerful.
Oh.
Maybe.
The first major boss Elden Ring is basically killing people and splicing their limbs onto himself to make himself stronger. So he's basically like this just dude with all these fucking hands and limbs all over him.
Well,
come to find out for phase 2, he also has a fucking dragon head spliced to his arm. So.
Well, I'll say this. We missed the tape in both parts. We missed the orange tape in part 1. We missed the black tape in part 2. We missed the black tape because I was rushing to get to the end of this because I wanted to be done with it. And we walked right past
it was
the tape
actually,
on the stairwell.
It was gray, but yeah. You literally stepped on it.
But either way, yeah, we were on our way up the stairs and we missed it. I went back and I watched it, and you're not that far off, Nick.
Of what?
Of like well, again,
of like something like making other things a part of itself, maybe.
In terms of what was explained on the tape, it's another experiment, and it's one that exhibits.
Can I see that part?
Yeah, I'm gonna say we can watch that real quick as like a little thing, but
bonus.
So now I'm invested in this, so I'm planning to actually just play through both myself.
There we go. There it is.
Log code 08502. In relation, experiment 1006. The prototype.
Wait.
A close call occurred this week in which he nearly breached containment. The prototype seemingly disassembled the digital alarm clock within his room and utilized the battery, along with several other components, to create a laser pointer, which he then fired into the security camera, disabling it. These actions allowed him 28.3 seconds completely unmonitored. Once function returned to the camera, the room appeared to be empty. One surveillance specialist went in to confirm his absence. However, upon opening the door, she realized that the prototype had hidden in one of the camera's blind spots. The prototype attempted to escape through the open door. However, another surveillance specialist was able to remotely relock the door, despite the other specialists still being inside. One casualty occurred. The prototype seems to possess an unprecedented level of intelligence beyond that of all other test subjects, as well as an alarming willingness to commit violence. Further suppression treatments will need to be enacted to ensure that no other experiments develop these qualities. Experiment 1170, Huggy Wuggy, remains the optimal outcome due to his sufficient intelligence paired with maximum obedience. End of log.
1170, it turns out.
Oh, so he was wrong on 1006 being Huggy as well.
Yeah. So, 1170. Turns out, if that's the case, what's the bridge between?
See, I was picturing
and 1170. There's that many of various other monsters out there for us to go
Holy
get.
shit.
So yeah,
But I was fully accepting the theory that 1006 was Huggy. I was like, makes sense. Like, but
I was
yeah.
too. I was too.
But yeah,
100%.
that's not the case. 1006 is probably the spider thing.
That's what it seems.
Which, like, if you look right there in that prototype 1006 song,
yeah,
like that looks like someone's taken that hand that was in the tape and darkness and color corrected it, and those fingers look spidery.
That's that.
So
again,
I don't think it's that there's a giant
again,
spider. I think it was a hand. You were right.
I think it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's probably like one that was made like before they were putting like real skin and stuff on them. So
Well, see,
a robot-y.
Maybe this one's longing for completion.
the reason
Again, the
why we
prototype.
said spider was because they said
the spider.
there was a tape that had it was who was it that was
It was
voicing
Jack.
that?
It was Jacksepticeye.
So he
He basically was just like, I saw a giant spider back there.
yeah.
It was enormous.
Yeah.
I thought it was somebody else that was talking about the spider thing.
What tape was
after that?
It was
because like obviously he was talking about like it's like no monster has that many legs and stuff like that. There's like
look up
it's like it was a
blue
monster, it had so many legs. He was talking about the fucking obviously the Pugapillar is what Jack was talking about.
Oh,
but I feel like
true.
someone else towards the end mentioned a spider after that encounter with the Pugapillar.
Maybe. I don't know. All I know is that the whole thing that went on with that went on with that where they were talking about spider again. Mommy Longlegs herself is based on a
She
spider
looks like a spider.
because
based on her
there
daddy
was
Longleg.
webs. Remember?
Yeah, she has a spindle in the back that can shoot out webs and block off. And again, I tried to go through a door and it wouldn't let me.
And she was so far away that I wasn't 100% sure that was her that had made the webs. I thought there was a spider thing that was like down in the depths of the factory somewhere that was making the webs.
I think once you go far enough, she blocks off a certain section of the map with her spindle.
Okay.
I think that's what that is. Once you progress.
Is there any point where you see her shoot web?
No, not really.
See, that's what makes me think it wasn't her. I think that was meant to trick people.
Maybe. I don't
think
know.
she's called Mommy Longlegs, and it's like a fake out type thing. But I mean, this is just a theory, just a game theory. But I think that we were meant to be tricked into thinking she was making the webs, but it's actually something else. And
maybe
she's only in. She was even named, Mommy Longlegs. It's like, oh, she's the spider, obviously, to throw you off from like something else that's coming in Chapter 3.
But then we find out that what was making the webs was actually not only trapping us, but it was trapping her as well.
And probably is the same thing that grabbed half of her body.
Yeah. That's what maybe. I guess we'll have to see. But we've gone on long enough on this. There's other game theories out there concerning Poppy Playtime that we're going to react to all in due time. But for now, everyone, that's going to do it. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I'm Nate.
I'm Kate.
I am Nick.
And we'll see y'all later, everybody. Bye-bye.
Yeah.